7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Christina Myers asking her famous grandmother some questions. When you washed white clothes, how did you wash them?
Rub them on the board, wash them on a washboard, glass washboard. And then, to make sure they're clean and sanitary, they're put into an iron kettle with a little bit of homemade soap and boiled, and you'd stir them, and they'd be white, and then you'd rinse them several times in water, cold water, after you took them out of the hot kettle, and then mostly rinse them in cold water in the summertime, but in the wintertime you had to have warm water so your hands wouldn't get too cold.
Okay, could you explain how you kept your food fresh?
Well, we had a spring house, the water ran down the hill to our spring house from a spring. And then come down in the yard, one part of the yard. And it was cold, and we'd put a stone jar in the race, and then we'd put our food in that. And when we milked the cows, we'd put our milk in there and put lids on them, so the milk would be kept clean. And then when the milk cream would raise on, we'd skim it off and save it, and then we'd set it aside to sour, and then we'd churn it to make butter. And then we'd use the buttermilk to make biscuits, cornbread, and such.
Okay, was the store that you went to, was it a regular grocery store or supermarket, or did it have was it a general store and then everything you got came from the same store?
Well, there's a general store. You could buy sugar, coffee, and there's different things you could buy, like spices, and buy nutmeg and little round nutmegs, and then you'd take them home and you'd rub them over a little thing to grind them, you might say, to make seasoning.
Okay. The soap, could you explain how you make soap?
Well, we would make soap with lye, but my mother used ashes from oak and hickory wood, and she'd put it in they called it the ash hopper, and they'd pour water in there, and then it was on a big stone, and it dripped down into another bucket, or a crock, and then you'd add a little grease to it to make soap, and you'd make a thin soap like you get now today in stores in plastic bottles. But then the lye that we bought, you take grease and so many pounds of grease and so many pounds of water, and then you put this lye in a stone crock, and then you would use cold water to pour in it, and it'd get real hot. You'd wait till it cooled, and then you'd warm the grease, and then you'd put the two together and stir them. And then pour them out, and then you'd cut them in pieces the size you wanted. You'd line enamel kettles, enamel dishpan, or anything enamel. Now aluminum, the lye would eat aluminum, so we didn't use aluminum.
That hopper, was it, or?
Ash.
Ash hopper. Did you buy them, or did you make them?
We made them with 4 pieces of wood. And they was mostly made out of wood that would last for a while. And then they had a lid on them, so when it rained, it didn't waste any of the ashes. That would, what they had to make the clothes white. That little stream, you'd put grass in the bottom, or not grass, but hay in the bottom of it, and then put your ashes in, and that kept it clean. It'd stream. It'd be strained before you made the soap out of it anyway, but that would sort of strain it too.
The homemade soap that you made, did it clean as well as the cleaners we have today?
Oh, I think it cleaned better.
How did it clean better?
Because if you get something that won't wash out on something, if you just take a little of that soap and rub it over it, it'll make it clean.
How is your water heated for bathing and laundry?
Well, it was heated on the cook stove a lot of times in a tea kettle, and then put a big kettle on there, a wash kettle on top of the stove. About a yard long, hold about 10 gallons. Then we had a tank on the back of the stove that would fill up with water.
How did you get to school?
Well, we walked until we got up big enough, then we would drive a horse after we got big enough to take care of the horse at school. We'd have a neighbor that's close, lived by the school, close to us, put a horse in the barn, and then we'd feed it some chop. We'd take that in a little bag along, a cloth bag, and feed it chop at dinner, and then we'd get back home. It'd eat its natural food, its chop and stuff, corn. Maybe we'd take ears of corn for it.
What kind of entertainment did you enjoy?
Oh, playing ball and playing different games that kids played then. Play fox and goose. There'd be a pen, and all of them would get in this pen, and one would get out. He'd be the fox. And they caught them, they'd go in the pen. And they'd run around the schoolhouse and try to get back to the pen before they got caught. And then there's a little game we call a tip cat. There's one on one side and one on the other that had a bat. And then you'd hit these balls, and then you'd run from one base to the other. And if you get crossed out, then you'd have to quit playing and let somebody else play.
Anything else you like to do?
Ride horseback and ride to the cows on a horseback. Once it was dark, and I was afraid of the dark. I didn't like to be out after dark. And there's a bunch of partridges flew up, and the horse threw me. But I got back on it. I didn't have no saddle on. I was just riding a rabbit. But she squatted down and scared her. But I helped her reins, and she didn't get away from me. I don't know what I'd done.
If you were sick then, did they have a lot of medicine to help you get better?
No. I had the flu in 1917. And the doctor come to see everybody, and he'd give them a little powder. I don't know what it was now. I don't know what they call it. It is a powder that you put it on fruit and then take it. It's something to kill the fever.
In what ways is life for you more enjoyable now that we have electricity, plastics, detergents, and other oil and natural gas products?
Well, I guess it's handier than it was then, but we got along. Fine as it was then. In one way, people took it more easy than they do now.
Was there a lot of rushing around then?
Well, you had to rush around when you was going to church. We went in a wagon one time, and my daddy was getting a wagon, and we had to go when he was ready. We all had to go, and if we didn't have we'd go out with our clothes on, but we'd have to button them up as we went. It wasn't nothing to go 10 miles to church in a wagon. And then one day, us girls went to church, and my brother. We drove 2 little mules. And the kids all along the way, they gathered along to go with us. And we went to church and come back, and we had 21 to stand up in the wagon. They're coming home with them 2 little mules pulled.
Did you have a lot of clothes to wear? Did you have to wear clothes day after day or something?
Well, we had, when our clothes got dirty, we had a chain of clothes, and they were washed and put back on us. We had dresses to wear to school, and not many, just a change, because there was 10 of us in the family, but there was just 9 lived to be grown, but there's 10 in the family, and it takes quite a bit of money to keep people in the clothes.
What kind of clocks, or how did you keep time then?
Well, we had just a clock at your wine, and a wine with a key.
What did your father do for a living?
Farm. And he would kill hogs for people, and beef, and if anybody got a sick cow or a sick horse, why, they called on the daddy. He was more or less a veterinarian in one way, because he knew how to take care of animals.
Did you have a lot of different things to drink, or did you drink one thing, or what?
Well, we had milk to drink, and we had coffee for one to drink when we got up. I can remember drinking coffee as far back as I can remember when I was little. For my breakfast, I had hot coffee and biscuits and butter and jelly. And there was meat, but I wouldn't eat it. And for breakfast, I'd eat it other meals, but not for breakfast. We'd have eggs, scrambled eggs, boiled eggs.
What kind of communication did you have? Like
We had a telephone since I was 4 years old. We could call people on the phone. I'd call them up. I'd just tell the roosters to the kids. Sometimes the lines would get crossed, and a whole bunch of us would get talking on the phone at night. And in the wintertime, people we knew, we'd come across them, and a whole bunch of us would get on there and talk.
How did your father plant crops and stuff?
Huh?
How did your farmer plant crops? Did he do it by hand or what?
No, he had a thing they called a cradle to cut his wheat with at first. Then he got a reaper that cut his wheat. And then he had a race cutter, a mowing machine like some have today that went along drawn by horses. We didn't have a tractor at my home when I was a girl.
What did your house look like?
Well, it had hardwood floors, and my granddaddy had planed them down, and the walls were sealed with pine lumber. It didn't even have an awning. They're beautiful walls. I reckon this is what makes me like this well, because it kind of resembles the pine wood. You see, it's like that.
Like the wood and things.
Like that wood there.
Okay.
It didn't have but a very few knots in it. It was mostly plain wood. And my mother molded the material that made our dresses, and she would make check gingham. It looked like check gingham to get at the stores today. And then we got so we could buy some material to make summer dresses and winter dresses too. But you could buy wool to make dresses.
Did you make your own shoes or did you buy them?
Well, they were homemade mostly, or some of them were. And then they were called the Elkin Shoe Company made them in Richmond, Virginia. They were kind of crude looking, but they kept your feet off the ground. They didn't keep your feet warm, but wore wool stockings that my mother knit to school.
In what ways did you like the good old days better?
Well, I don't know. It wasn't so rushy in one way. But of course you had to get there on time and get started school to get on time.
Well, I thank you for being on this special report for us, and I hope we have you on our news again.
Okay.
Bye.